All right, so Bitcoin. Everybody's heard of it, but how many of us really understand it?
That's what we're here for. And what better place to start than the source itself, the Bitcoin white paper?
Now, I'll admit, when I first tried to read it, let's just say it's a bit technical,
Hmm.
but that's why you're here, to help us break it down.
Absolutely. And the good news is you don't need to be a cryptography whiz to grasp the core concepts.
So let's jump right in. Where does this deep dive begin?
Well, the white paper kicks off with a problem statement, actually. Before diving into the technical solution, it outlines the limitations of traditional online payment systems.
Right, like the whole relying on banks thing.
Exactly. Transaction fees, delays, the need for trust in intermediaries, all issues that Bitcoin aims to address.
It's easy to forget in our world of instant transactions how clunky and expensive those systems can be.
And more than that, they're centralized, creating single points of failure. If a bank system goes down, or worse, if there's fraud or a security breach,
Your money could be gone.
exactly. Bitcoin proposes something radically different, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system.
Ah, yes, Section 2. This is where it gets interesting. So no more middlemen. How does that actually work?
Think of it like sending an email. You don't need permission from a postal service to send a message directly to someone's inbox.
So it's like a direct line between users.
Exactly. Transactions occur directly between users without the need for banks or payment processors.
Okay, that does sound pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, there's a part of me that's thinking, what's stopping someone from, I don't know, copying their Bitcoin and spending it twice?
You've hit upon a crucial issue with any digital currency, the double spending problem. But don't worry, Bitcoin has an ingenious solution. The blockchain.
The blockchain.
Yeah.
It's a term we hear all the time. What is it? In simple terms.
Imagine a giant public ledger that keeps track of every single Bitcoin transaction. This ledger is constantly being updated and verified by a network of computers.
Okay, I'm picturing like a giant Excel spreadsheet shared across the internet.
That's a good way to visualize it. Now, imagine this spreadsheet is also incredibly secure thanks to something called proof of work. Think of it like a complex Sudoku puzzle that needs to be solved to add a new block of transactions to the chain.
So it's like a puzzle that confirms the transactions are legitimate.
Yes, solving these puzzles requires significant computing power and electricity, making it extremely difficult and costly to tamper with the blockchain.
And this is what prevents someone from just creating fake transactions and adding them to the chain.
Precisely. Plus, there's another layer of security, hashing.
Hashing.
And think of it as a unique fingerprint for every single transaction. Even a tiny change to the transaction data would result in a completely different fingerprint.
So any attempt to alter a transaction would be immediately obvious.
Exactly. This immutability makes Bitcoin incredibly secure and transparent. You can trace the history of every Bitcoin back to its origin.
It's like a self-auditing system. That's a far cry from traditional financial systems where things can be reversed or accounts frozen.
Right. You have control over your money in a way that's just not possible with traditional systems.
This is pretty mind-blowing stuff. But if there's no central authority, how does the Bitcoin network decide which version of the blockchain is the right one, the accurate history?
That's where this distributed consensus mechanism comes in. The white paper refers to it as the longest chain principle.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Break that down for us.
The version of the blockchain with the most proof of work behind it, meaning the most computational effort has been expended to build it, is considered the valid one.
So the majority rules.
In a sense, yes. It's a network driven by consensus, making it incredibly resistant to manipulation or control by any single entity. And there's another key element of Bitcoin laid out in the white paper. Its accessibility.
Right. You don't need permission from anyone to join this network.
Absolutely. If you can connect to the internet, you can potentially participate in the Bitcoin network.
That opens up so many possibilities, especially for communities that don't have access to traditional banking systems.
Precisely. The implications for financial inclusion are huge.
Wow. It's amazing to think that this revolutionary technology sprang from a single white paper.
Right. It really makes you wonder what other groundbreaking innovations are waiting to be discovered.
For our listeners who want to dive even deeper, we'll link to the full Bitcoin white paper in our show notes. It's surprisingly readable, and honestly, understanding its principles can be quite empowering.
Absolutely. It gives you a glimpse into the future of finance and the potential of decentralized technologies.
Until next time, keep exploring and questioning.